Hello there. I know why you clicked on this video, because you want to get one of these. A one-wheel XR Classic. But thing's heavy. You don't know if you're gonna like it or not. Or you already have an XR and you don't want to upgrade. So I've had this machine for about 2 months, and I'm gonna give you my honest opinion about it and give you some views of it on the road. So let's get into it. This is what I think about my one-wheel XR Classic. It is a good machine, but you might be thinking, why not just get a bike or something like a Ripstick or a longboard? Those are some pretty good machines, but the problem is on a longboard or like a bike, longboards, they can't go on all terrain as good as a one-wheel can. And a bike, you might be like, why not just get a bike? It can go the same speed and it can go for longer without needing charged. But do you really want to pedal that far? Do you really? I know you're lazy. You're the one thinking about buying a one-wheel, okay? And I know you don't want to be spending time or your money, because believe me, it's not cheap. I know you don't want to be spending your time and money investing into something that you don't want. Frankly, I stand for it. If you want a one-wheel and you're seriously thinking about getting one, get it. It's your decision. Yours. And plus, these things are bad. Just don't get in trouble with your police. My police are pretty chill. I got in trouble once, but we don't need to go into that. Okay? Now, let's go into some pros, cons about the one-wheel. One of the questions I get asked most frankly on this machine is it hard to ride? And frankly, it's not hard at all. It's kind of like the hybrid in between I would think of as a longboard and a snowboard and a surfboard combined. Because all you're doing is really balancing on the one wheel when you're stopped. That's the hardest thing. All you have to do is balance. But after a while, you get used to it. And people are like, you're probably thinking, William, doesn't that go too fast? And what happens if it just throws you off? Trust me, it only goes 20, this specific model. And it only throws you off if you're not an idiot. Because it has haptic buzz features, and it has a lot of warnings until it throws you off. Unless it's dead, or close to being dead. Because I've had mine at like 17%, and it threw me off, but I was in grass, and I was being dumb. So just don't be dumb and have common sense on your one wheel. And you might be thinking, oh no, it looks so scary, how do I get off? It's so simple. Look, you just lift up your front foot, and it shuts off. And you can get off like that. So, one more pretty thing that I get asked about is how long does it take to charge? And I just charged this morning, and believe me, I don't think it says it on the One Wheel website that much, but it takes like 3 hours to charge. Even though I think it says like 1 or 2, it takes like 3. If you have just a regular GT charger, which what it comes with. And I just have the base model, so it didn't come with anything. And if you are buying one, I would suggest spending some more money and getting a fender. Because the water and the rocks will just splash up into your legs. Which frankly, it sucks. And another thing people ask me, hey, can that thing go off-road? Yes, it can. It can go perfectly on the sand and off-road. It just takes some skill and some balance. And it really likes the road. And especially with this curved tire or this treaded tire, I say, it loves being off-road compared to some other models, like the original XR. If you are thinking of upgrading, upgrade. This thing is much more better than an XR. I have ridden a couple of XRs in my life, which is not that very long. It's only been 14 years, almost 15. But the XRs are just way more slower. Just hear me out. They're a really good machine. That's why they based off a new model off of them. But they aren't the best machine. Those are in the past. Those have been like outstocked. That's why they stopped making them. That's why they made a new one, because it has a bunch of new firmware and a bunch more customization than a regular one. Because that machine is just in the past. So if you're thinking about upgrading, just do it already. It's a good machine to get. Okay. Now, a lot of people ask me, how expensive is that thing that you're riding? And it's pretty expensive. This one was like $1,900, almost $2,000. And if you get it with a fender, it's gonna be like $2,100. So all I'm saying is that if you're getting a new one wheel, don't be afraid to spend out. I know it's a lot of money, but just, you're gonna have so much more fun riding a one wheel than just sitting on your ass watching YouTube videos or scrolling through shorts. Yeah, I know, that's you right there. So, all I have to say, in my experience of owning this one wheel and an XR, falling off, and if you're scared to fall off, that's just gonna happen. You can't not expect to ever fall off on one of these things. They're a machine that is not that stable. Even though I said they are stable, it's a freaking one wheel. It's like a balancing act. But it's easier than it looks. And if you're thinking about getting one of these over a bike or a longboard, I recommend this over either of those. Because bikes, you get really tired after a while. And longboards, they can't go over big cracks like that, or they just get tripped up. I've had a longboard before. I know how it is. And plus, these are really good if you live in like a smaller town. I live on a cul-de-sac right now. Not cul-de-sac, I don't know what it's called, street. But I don't live close to town. But when I'm in my town, it's really easy to ride around. Like I can just weave throughout the sidewalks. Do not take it on the road unless it's like a school zone, which is like 15 miles an hour, which this thing can go 20. It can go past that. I pushed mine to 22, okay? Especially if you're light, kind of like me. I'm not the lightest. I am an 8th grader. I am a almost 15-year-old 8th grader. I am like 180, kind of chubby. But this thing hauls not as much as like an electric longboard, because those things can go like 30. But it depends on which model you get. If you get a GT, you're going faster. But if you get an XR, you're more into cruising, which cruise they do. So, yeah, my opinion on this fine machine is that you should get it. Like, if you're thinking about getting a pint, don't waste your money on a pint. You're just probably gonna sell it, put it on Facebook Marketplace, and then try to get a bigger one once you grow out of your pint, because pints are a small machine. Too small to do cool stuff like go in the mountains or go on bike trails. This is the perfect machine for all of that. It's like an in-between of a pint and an XR. So, if you're wondering, why don't I just get an XR Classic? Or why don't I just get a one wheel in general? Do it. Because they're easy to ride. You can fall off of them. Not that much. You don't fall that much. And they even have a battery indicator to tell you when they're low on battery. I would get one. The hype is real, and you should just get one. Like, they go for like almost 32 miles on one singular charge, and they go up to 20. So, If you're thinking about just getting a one wheel, commit. Start the one wheel. It's a great life. Personally, I love it. I love being out in the nature. It's right hills of Montana. I love being out here. It's better than sitting on your phone inside all day. So, just try it, man. And if you don't like it, you can always sell it. And now, let's hit a stop speed test. I'm gonna show you how fast I can go. Okay, so we are getting on. And since I live on a street, it's not that bad. I just ride. But I'm gonna do a front-facing camera so you don't see the one wheel. So you see how fast I'm going. And make sure, if you are doing this, always wear a helmet. I do not have a helmet on, so you can hear me better. But if you're ever on a moving vehicle, use a helmet, okay? And we'll start buzzing if you go too fast. I started to get some feedback telling me to slow down. And I wasn't even at top speed yet. That's why you're probably never gonna fall off one of these machines. Hear that? That was a haptic buzz. And if I went into my one wheel app, it would say that I was going 21. And that's not something to be ashamed about. That is really fast, especially on a one wheel device. So that's your speed. That's what it'll look like. And again, if you're a little bit bigger, if you're on the bigger side, not to be rude, it will go a little bit slower because it's trying to carry all your weight. Okay, now back to the prices. So, the price. This machine, the base model comes with a charger and a one wheel. That is $1,900. I know, kind of expensive, but think about it. That's for a whole machine. And if you have a Scheels around you, you can buy it through Scheels and get a return policy. That is pretty good. That's what I did. I have a return policy on this. If I break it, if I crash, if I just don't want it anymore, I can return it back to Scheels. And Scheels is also a great place for one wheels because they have a thing called parts. And they have a lot of accessories and parts for one wheels. Like fenders. They don't really carry anything really for the new XR in my Scheels yet because it's so new. But they do probably carry it in some other places. And they just have like accessories, like fenders. Charger plugs are a real good accessory. I would suggest getting one. My charger gets plugged up with a bunch of sand and dirt all the time. If you're thinking about just getting a one wheel, I would price out and get the accessory bundle, like the essential bundle, if you're buying offline. Because that is one of the best bundles they have. And the price for the essential bundle, I think it makes it like $2,100 on sale. The last time I checked, that's a pretty good deal. That's only $200 more. So if you're thinking about getting a one wheel, especially the XR, get the accessory pack. Okay, now let's go inside. Let me tell you my thoughts and opinions for the last time. Okay, my opinions on whether you should get a one wheel XR. My opinions are that you should get a one wheel if you're really looking forward to getting one. Like, one wheels are just a good machine. And if you're thinking if they're anything like hoverboards or like a Segway, you're wrong. They're a whole different machine. And I think I need more people in my hobby of one wheels. And I have a lot of little hobbies, like, for example, yo-yos. I did post a cringe video on a yo-yo, and nobody really liked it. But I need more people in my one wheel hobby. If no one's gonna accept me in any of my others. So I'm saying to you to get the one wheel. If you're really looking forward to it, and if you are upgrading from a regular XR to an XR Classic, go for it. All it is worth it. All for the new machinery. Like, all for the upgrades and like all the stuff. Like the technological, the customizability, the ride stuff. It's all new in the one wheel Classic XR. And it's better than the one wheel XR. Okay? That's my opinion. You can hate me for it, but I'm saying you should get it. William, signing out.